The Fall Guy fell down, go boom at the box office this weekend. Should it have? Well, as sure as I'm sure that Fallout Boy did not sing Free Falling, I should say, I'm sure I'll have an answer for you on that one. So stop playing Fallout and fall in line and check out this episode of Movies Merica Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hey, welcome everybody to this episode of Movies Merica Live, a spoiler-free review of The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. And I want to thank all my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics for joining the Movies Merica Live show here, and then everybody else for joining here. So this is your chance to talk spoiler-free all about The Fall Guy, okay? And we're going to get into the plot here, but before I get too far here, of course, I am your host, Van Ebert, humbly here for you, okay, for this Fall Guy episode. And real quick, I just want to thank again for Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, the show that I had back last Thursday. I want to thank Christian Toto, Mr. Hollywood in Toto, for being my special guest on that show this last Thursday. And you can still check out that episode on my Movies Merica channels and whatnot. Just look for that episode. You will find that right there. Okay. So, all right. So let's get right into The Fall Guy right there. So yeah, if that doesn't spell out for you what movie I'm going over this week, I don't know what will. Okay. But as you see right there, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are the main characters in The Fall Guy. And of course, this is based off of the 1980s Fall Guy TV series starring Lee Majors and Heather Thomas. And Lee Majors, up at that point there, he was known most for playing the $6 Million Man, and he played the Fall Guy in the 80s. And it's not the most obscure 80s TV series there is, but it's definitely not the most well-known. Okay, this isn't Miami Vice or the A-Team or anything like that. But so yeah, this movie is directed by ex-stuntman David Leitch, who also directed Bullet Train a couple years ago and Deadpool 2 and some other movies as well. And so in The Fall Guy, the TV series, and then in this movie, the lead character is a stunt guy. Okay, so, and that's kind of a double metaphor here with the title of the movie being The Fall Guy. He's a stunt man. He falls, right? He falls professionally, but also they're trying to make him the fall guy for a crime, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, this is kind of a more comedic take on this TV series, kind of like what the Starsky and Hutch movie or the 21 Jump Street movies did to those TV series, because originally the TV series that those movies were all about, they weren't comedies per se. Okay, they weren't supposed to be make you laugh your butt off. But then when they did the movies, like Starsky and Hutch and Chips and 21 Jump Street, they converted them basically to these action comedies there, which I guess they figured would make them a little bit more accessible to more of an audience, that kind of thing right there. But yeah, The Fall Guy, it has Ryan Gosling playing Colt Seaver as a stunt guy, and that was Lee Majors' character in The Fall Guy, Colt Seaver. And then you have Emily Blunt, and she plays a movie writer who then gets promoted and is a movie director named Jody. And they have a brief fling. She's his flame for a little while here while he's doing movie stunt guy thing, and then something catastrophic happens, and that causes their relationship to pretty much go poof. Okay, not because of her, but because of him. Okay, and so he pretty much ghosts her, is what he does. And so then he leaves the movie stunt guy game, but then he is called back into action because the movie star that he used to be the stunt guy for, a guy named Tom Ryder, he's kind of a knockoff of Tom Cruise in this movie, he has disappeared, and stunt guy's disappeared as well. And so they call Ryan Gosling or Colt Seavers in this, and hey, buddy, old pal, we need you again, man. Come on down and get your old job back. We know you're jumping right at the chance right there. And of course, after they call him to offer him his job back, he's kind of like,
"You are a retard,"
and he is no quick spot, or he is not in a hurry to get his old job back. Okay, so he's just been emotionally modified, from the catastrophic accident that happened right there. But then, of course, then they mentioned, yeah, but the movie's being directed by Jody, and of course, he's like, make sure it's an aisle seat on the plane. So that's how you get him back into the stunt guy scene that you see in the trailers there, where he's doing all the stunt guy stuff, and jumping on helicopters and rolling cars and all that. And so once he gets to the film set there and meets back up with Emily Blunt, and they go through their thing, they go through their kind of awkward, oh, hey, wow, okay, yeah, we're, hi kind of phase. And she's still, pissed off at him, and he still knows that he's still very well aware that she's pissed off at him, and there's that awkwardness and hostility. They go through that period there, and then there's a murder mystery, thing that goes on in the movie, and Ryan Gosling is kind of just plopped right into these dangerous situations, which require a whole lot of stunts, right? Because there's all kinds of action and all that. And so, is it exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff in this movie. I mean, this movie is a love letter to stunt guys, so they're going to bring you plenty of action in this movie. So, but that's about as much into the plot that I'm going to go into for this movie. I'm not trying to spoil this movie for you right away or at all, really. Okay, the spoiling is going to happen this Thursday on the Movies Merica spoiler warning show. That is for sure. But let me refresh the old live chat, and I just want to, because I want to make sure I didn't lose anybody or miss anybody in the live chat. And that reminds me that this show isn't just about me just talking to myself and rattling on about this movie to myself right there, because, well, that's just a little psycho if I'm sitting here talking to myself. Okay, there's a reason I do this live, and that's so you can live chat with me. And so, yeah, get into the live chat, everybody. Okay, get in the live chat and live chat with me about The Fall Guy, or hell, any Ryan Gosling or Emily Blunt movie that you want to, or any movie that you have in mind, or anything. Okay, that you have in mind to chat with me about. Now, this isn't Loveline, okay? So I'm not going to be able to give you relationship advice, okay? And believe me, you don't want relationship advice from me, okay? So, but yeah, if you've got questions or comments or whatever about the Fall Guy, primo, that is the number one thing to live chat with me, and you can do that through Rumble and YouTube and Pilled. Everybody, yes, that is your chance to talk all about the Fall Guy with moi over here. So let's talk more about the Fall Guy. What do you say there? So, I mean, the Fall Guy, it has some fun moments in it. I did find that it does steal a lot from other movies, though. One movie last year that everyone was always bitching about that stole a lot of things from other movies was Gran Turismo. And so if that movie is going to get a heap of crap for that, well, another movie that does that is The Fall Guy, and I'm going to give it a heap of crap for stealing from a lot of other movies as well. One example of something that it steals from other movies is the whole I'm a valet, quitting my job, so I'm taking somebody's whip for a crazy drive and protest trope. Okay, we've seen that in other movies there. But Gosling really convinces you that he is having a great time, and that rubs off on you in this movie. No, ladies, not that kind of Ryan Gosling rubbing off on you. So don't get too excited, okay? He plays his Colt Seaver's character like a tough as nails, culturally adept, very aloof, slightly zen, and borderline naive guy who is crushing on Emily Blunt's Jody character. It's, to be honest with you, it's like a variation on Sean William Scott's Doug Glatt character from the Goon movies, but way smarter, okay? And unfortunately for Blunt, she's not given much to do other than to be eye candy for Gosling and us. Her character as a film director is she's very endearing and down to earth, but she really is just kind of one note in this. She plays the scorned, pissed off ex of Colt in this, who also obviously still has a truckload of feelings for him. That's blatantly obvious in this. They try to write some humor in here for the character of Jody, but they just don't close the deal on it. It can't be denied, though, that Gosling and Blunt do have chemistry here. And if Emily's real-life husband, Jim Halpert, John Krasinski, was a more insecure guy, he might get a little jealous. However, I doubt that because the ladies consider John Krasinski to be a heartthrob too. So no worries for that man at this time. Speaking of heartthrobs, we also get Aaron Taylor Johnson in this. The guy who very likely could be the next James Bond. 14 years after playing the nerdy kick-ass, plays this Tom Cruise level movie star in this, again, like I mentioned before, named Tom Ryder. Now, even though Colt is his stuntman, Tom insists on always stating that he does all his own stunts. Now, to be honest with you, you don't see much of this Tom Ryder character in the movie, though. And when you do, he doesn't really get any memorable or funny lines. He's pretty much like the straight man to Gosling's humorously quipping main character. And then you also see Winston Duke in this playing the obligatory black best friend or black friend. And then suddenly Stephanie Sue from Everything Everywhere All at Once just suddenly just shows up in the middle of the movie briefly, then goes away. And Stephanie Sue, she plays Tom's assistant, but somehow she's able to kick the ass of some professional killers in a chase scene that they have going through Sydney, Australia. Huh? Yep, we got some of that in this movie. Girl boss forever. Oh yeah, we get some of that in this movie, but you get a lot of that in movies nowadays. But real quick here, just let me remind you of our tdpn.locals.com website that you see right up there, okay? And TDPN, of course, stands for Till Death Podcast Network, which Movies Merica is a part of. And tdpn.locals.com, that's a fantastic website where we have all our Till Death Podcast Network content, like blogs and videos and articles all about movies and entertainment and booze, like cocktail recipes, politics, hot button sizzling topics of the day, but all presented to you in a way that you are not going to find anywhere else, okay? And I'm sure you've probably heard that 6 ways from Sunday from a bunch of other people, like, our content isn't like anything else anywhere else, okay? So, well, in our case, we mean it, okay? You're not going to find it presented to you in any other, or in this way, anywhere else, okay? So don't hesitate, okay? So don't be that guy that's like, I don't know if I should. I don't know. Or that girl for that matter. Do it. Okay. Show some initiative and go to tdpn.locals.com. All right. And then as you see down below, if you put in promo code TDPN, you're going to get 1 month free membership. Okay. That's 1 month free VIP membership. Okay. You got carte blanche, full reign over this website. Okay. You get access to everything for free. Okay. And you get that for a whole month, man. That's pretty sweet, right? So yeah, go ahead and get there, put that promo code in. And then after the 1 month, it's just a measly like $3 minimum per month for some pretty sweet content for sure there. Okay. So get there, check it out, everybody. tdpn.locals.com. Do it. All right. So let's check out more Fall Guy. What do you say here, huh? And I mean, there's so much more to say about this movie. Like about the humor in this, okay, because this is an action romance / comedy. It's an action / romance / comedy. Okay, so I guess an action rom-com. And the humor in this reminded me of the type of humor we saw in the 21 Jump Street movie. Of course, that was another movie based off a TV show, but that show had with Johnny Depp in it. And there's a scene in The Fall Guy that is really reminiscent of the drug phases of HFS seen in 21 Jump Street. Remember, HFS was the drug that they're trying to bust kids for in 21 Jump Street, they being Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And so there's that scene where they're going through Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are experiencing the drug phases of HFS. So, but they have a scene reminiscent of that in The Fall Guy, but no gigs or tripping Major Ballsack in this movie though, and the humor is just tongue in cheek and absurd, and some of it lands, to be perfectly honest with you. And I did like the joke about what we all deal with at some point in time, repeatedly having to get new door cards for your hotel room door because they just won't work. And I have to say, Gosling does have impeccable comic timing with the lines he's given. I guess his days in the new Mickey Mouse Club back in the 90s paid off, right? One character they really try to make funny, but it just falls flat, is that of Gail, the producer of the movie they're filming in The Fall Guy. So I think the movie's called Metal Storm. And Gail, the producer of the movie, is played by Hannah Waddingham. And you may know Hannah better for her role as the Septa, ringing the bell, yelling, "Shame! Shame!" as she marched Cersei Lannister naked through the streets in Game of Thrones. Or she also played Ted Lasso's boss. In The Fall Guy, they write her these monologues to try to drum up the funny, but it just makes you want to lead her through the streets yelling, "Shame! Shame!" ringing your bell, I mean, her whole sexy bacon monologue was some try-hard garbage that Gosling, to be honest with you, ended up having to keep alive. I mean, that monologue was just dying a sad, sad death, and Gosling had to rescue Hannah Waddingham from that monologue. And then there's also a sequence where Jody, being the director of the movie, decides to get some revenge on Colt for ghosting her by forcing him to do a stunt over and over as she bellows out a movie analogy that's supposed to sub in for their relationship and how it went in front of the whole movie crew. And it's meant to get the whole theater pissing their pants with laughter. But I mean, it just felt too familiar. Like that whole sequence was ripping off some other movie that I just couldn't put my finger on. I'm sure there's a movie out there that had that scene before, or maybe multiple movies, but I just couldn't recall what movie that was. I, of course, should talk about the stunts in this movie because this movie really is a love letter to stuntmen and women. It's like, to be honest with you, it's like a modern version of the Burt Reynolds movie Hooper back in the 70s, which was also a love letter to stuntmen and women. Now, the stunts are cool, but nothing really more than what you see in the John Wick movies. And those are movies that are also directed by an ex-stuntman, but that ex-stuntman that directs those movies is Chad Stahelski. Now, the action in The Fall Guy doesn't really hold a candle to, say like the John Woo action movies of the 80s and 90s. Think like Hard Boiled, Hard Target, Face Off, Broken Arrow, those movies. The stunts, the action in The Fall Guy just does not measure up to those movies, or like the Raid movies here more recently. But it is cool to see the stuntmen and women get their time in the spotlight during the end credits here. And check that appreciation that they show the stuntmen in this movie. Check it out. It's something to behold, and it's pretty cool that they are getting their time in the sun there finally. And then also you're gonna want to make sure to stick around for after the end credits. You might see something majors, if you know what I'm saying, right there. Okay, so all right, everybody. So to be honest, am getting pretty parched. Okay, I've been putting some really hard work in for you, slaving over this Movies Merica live stove. Okay, so it's hot, and it's hard work, and so I'm getting so thirsty, and so it's time, I'd say, for a little brew review time. All right, so let's check out our brew for today. And this is some Ale Smith Brewing Company out of San Diego, California, with their Speedway Stout. And this has got some chocolate and roasted malt, and those flavors are really in the driver's seat of this high revving beer. And I call it high revving because this bad boy has a alcohol by volume of 12, okay, which is pretty major for a beer here. And it also has notes of like dark fruit and toffee in it. And it's also brewed with some locally roasted coffee in it here. So I'll make sure I get a good grip on that. So I want to make sure I don't drop that, because look at the size of this sucker. Okay, that's a massive beer right there. So you're getting mass quantities. You're getting a whole lot for your buck there with this Ale Smith Brewing Company Speedway Stout right there. And now the way that I describe what's in this beer and how it tastes there might just affect or kick in the gag reflex of many beer drinkers, but I implore you, resist the urge to be so basic. Okay, so go ahead and take a chance on something like this Speedway Stout right here, because you can't drink tranny fluid, the piss water Bud Light all the time, right? Okay, you got to go for something different. Variety is a spice of life. And I would check out some Speedway Stout. I'm not getting any money from Ale Smith Brewing Company or anything like that. So this is a completely objective, nonpartisan review of some Speedway Stout right here. Okay, so but this is definitely worth a try. You probably have to go someplace like Open Bar, which is an app on your phone most likely, or drizzly.com or gopuff.com to get your hands on some of this Speedway Stout right there. Okay, well, I'm going to take a tug off this bad boy if you don't mind. Pretty good. Now you're probably thinking, that was more than a tug right there. And you know what? You would be right, okay? But that's just because it's good, man. It's just some good stuff right there. But without further ado, let's wrap up this brew review time. Alrighty then. So let's check out, I want to just make sure I've got my ducks in a row here as I avoid getting beer condensation all over my mouse over here. Okay, because can't have that. I don't want to slip and fall on my mouse over here, because I've got beer condensation all over it. That would not be cool. Okay, so we try not to slip on any banana peels around here, but we're good to go. But I got some other random thoughts about The Fall Guy. I mean, it's good to see some dogs get some time in the spotlight, especially the dog in The Fall Guy named Jean Claude in this, who is an Australian breed called a Kelpie. And so the dog, the dog character in this movie, again called Jean Claude, only understands commands from Colt when he speaks to them in French there. So, pardon me, beer burps galore. And then also, this movie actually was filmed in Sydney, Australia, and they take big time advantage of that. This is about the only similarity this movie has to Mission Impossible 2, which was also largely filmed in Sydney. And in The Fall Guy, you do get some cool shots of, say, like the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbor Bridge, and some other famous landmarks in Sydney. And also, I have to say, it was also just good to see that the pandemic police have apparently let the Australian population out of their pandemic prisons for now, until the next emergency. All right. So, yeah. So, I mean, because you never know when they're going to have another emergency when they feel the need to lock everybody down right there. So, all right. So, I mean, The Fall Guy, yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I've got some things to say about The Fall Guy right there. But for right now, I got some things to say about our sponsor, Flip City Magazine, okay? But real quick, let me let them say some words about this in a much better light.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right, yeah, so get yourself some Flip City Magazine, all right? So don't wait. Get it done, okay? And you know what? I've already got myself some Flip City Magazine over here. So, yeah, there's my proof right there. Check that out right there. I mean, it's just cool to have like a magazine that I can actually hold in my hand, something tangible, okay? That's just something that reading articles online just misses, okay? It's just something that it can't replace. Just having just a magazine right in your hand that you can just get that tangible old feel, that back in the day feel where, magazines were the thing. I mean, before we even had a worldwide interweb, right? I mean, magazines were the thing. And so, yeah, it's just cool to have Flip City Magazine. And just think of it, it's like the now much funnier version of Mad Magazine or Cracked, okay? Because unfortunately, those magazines have been sucked into the woke Borg. Okay, they're more worried about teaching you a lesson, young man. They have valuable life lessons to teach you. You're not living life right. You need to get life lessons from Mad Magazine and Cracked. Okay, and the reason that they do that is because they wussed out and got sucked into the woke Borg. Where something like Flip City Magazine, they have one agenda and one agenda only: to crack you up. Okay. And yeah, get yourself some Flip City Magazine. And as you see down below, if you put in the promo code MOVIES after you click on the Flip City link in the description down below, you're going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around. Okay, so don't let your friends, your family beat you to it. Okay, get there, get your Flip City, because you don't want them like coming to you first and going, hey, I know you used to read magazine, or do you want something really funny to read? Well, check out this Flip City magazine. You want to be the first one to get to them. Okay, so don't you snooze, you lose. All right, people. So get there, get yourself some Flip City magazine. All right, so all right here, and then just let me remind you, everybody, of the Movies America spoiler warning show that I do every Thursday night. Okay, and that is of course going to be at 7 Eastern this Thursday night. So that would be 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific. Okay. And as you would imagine, this Thursday night's Movies America spoiler warning show is going to be all about The Fall Guy. Yes, this movie right here this Thursday night. Okay. And that's going to be your chance to live chat with me, all spoilery about The Fall Guy right there. So check that out. And that's going to be just like this show. It's going to be on Rumble and Pilled and YouTube. Okay. So check out my X page. That's one of the easiest ways to get the links to the show for this Thursday's Movies America spoiler warning. Just go to my @Movies America page on X. But you can go to the Till Death Podcast Network page on X there as well to get links. So yeah, check it out this Thursday night, Movies America spoiler warning. Yes. So is this movie, The Fall Guy, is it a woke after school special? Not at all. Matter of fact, it pokes fun at the term toxic masculinity towards the end with a line from Gail, the producer that I was telling you about earlier, played by Hannah Waddingham. This is a movie made by stuntmen who are no soy boys. So they're not ones to curl up in the fetal position and start sucking their thumbs in the presence of the woke Borg. Okay. They'll do as they please. So yes, there is no woke in this movie at all. So no, The Fall Guy is not a woke after school special. And thank God for that. Okay. Because I mean, you'll see in this movie, you see the stunt guys doing their thing. And as you would imagine, yeah, stunt guys and stunt women, these are alpha males. These are alpha females. Okay. And you have to be more of a beta male. You have to be more of a soy boy. You have to kind of be like the pissed off green haired lesbian, to kind of, be subject to wussing out to the woke Borg. And so because these stunt people are self-assured, confident people who don't feel inadequate, yeah, they're not subject to being sucked up by the woke Borg. So all that to say, again, this is not a woke after school special whatsoever. Okay. So, all right. So let me take a chance here to just let you guys know, or just implore you, if you would. Okay. And you don't have to, but just to let you know that if you're appreciating anything that I'm doing right here, doing this show for you, and you want to show a little financial appreciation for what I'm doing, hey, you can just throw a buck or two my way. The way you can do that is if you're checking me out on Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant. And how you do that on Rumble is you click on the little button that has a dollar sign, I should say, a dollar sign on it, down by where you type in your live chat there on Rumble. Okay. And then if you're checking me out on YouTube, you can give me what's called a super chat if you are so inclined. And that's just your chance to give me a buck or two there. So the way you do that on YouTube is click on the button that has a dollar bill sign down by where you type in your live chat message there. And then last but certainly not least, if you're checking me out on pilled.net, pardon me, beer burps. That's why I can't talk right, because I got a beer burp building up over here. So, but took care of that right there. So again, yep, everybody.
You're drunk? Everybody's drunk.
That's me. That's why I can't talk right. Okay. But yeah, if you check me out on Pilled, you can give me what's called gold pills there. And in the pilled.net world, gold pills equate to dollar bills, okay, to moolah, to scratch, okay. And yeah, you can do that here. I think just by clicking on the gold pill button there in Pilled. And so again, that's only if you feel like showing some financial appreciation to me. I'm not gonna, be that guy that talks to you, gets you into a show, and then starts begging you and guilt tripping you into giving him money. Okay, I'm not that guy who's gonna be like,
Gotcha, bitch.
yep, not gonna be that guy. You better give me money, otherwise you're not very classy. Not gonna be that guy whatsoever. Okay, so all right, that's enough about money and all that stuff. Right there, enough about that. Okay, so also just want to remind you that we, of course, we had our bannies. 2-3 weeks ago and whatnot, and on our bannies episode. And the Bannies is basically our award show, our Till Death Podcast Network equivalent of the Oscars and the Golden Globes. That's still out there for you to check out. So if you go to like the Till Death Podcast Network channel on YouTube, or you go to the Movies Merica page, or the Till Death Podcast Network page on Rumble or something like that, you'll find the Bannies episode out there. And just want to show you like one of the one of the things that you could, or that are as part of the Bannies. It's part of one of the segments on the Bannies that if you haven't seen the Bannies yet, you've missed, but you can correct that by checking out the Bannies. So here's just a little TV commercial from the Bannies that you can check out if you watch the Bannies. Here's a little taste for you.
From the comedic geniuses who brought you the heavyweight hit, My 600-Pound Life,
You think this funny?
comes a new guilty pleasure that affirms your love for trashy TV. If this is not your favorite new show, then obviously you identify as wrong.
My patient has come to me to change her gender.
It's he.
Sorry, we're going to change his gender. What will happen during his surgery?
Actually, it's theirs.
What will happen during their surgeries will...
All right, that's all you get. That's all you get. So if you check out the Bannies episodes, then, or the Banny episode, I should say, the Bannies episode. There we go. Apparently, I'm having too much of this right here. I can't talk right. I need some help right there. This episode is.
It'll burn and burn and burn.
Yeah. So, yeah, check out the Bannies episode. Again, check that out where I mentioned before. You can check that out. All right. Okay, so my final thoughts on The Fall Guy is I would check it out just because it's somewhat original content. Okay, now I know it's based off of a TV show, particularly The Fall Guy in the 80s. But it's fun enough. I mean, it's PG-13 and it's fun enough and goofy enough and entertaining enough to where, you could take, your family, your date, your wife, your husband, whatever, and have a pretty damn good time. Okay. And also the message needs to be sent to Hollywood to create more movies like this where you haven't seen a movie like this before. Okay. So again, I know it's the Fall Guy TV show it's based off of, but we've never seen a movie version of the Fall Guy. Okay. And so this is another movie that's not a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie or whatever. Okay. And those movies, when they do them well, are perfectly fine. But you know what? Man cannot live off of Marvel and Star Wars alone. We need some originality. Pardon me. So this is your chance to send a message with your dollars to Hollywood to make more of these movies. Okay. So don't get seduced and sucked into the trap of like just sitting your ass on the couch watching streaming, because that's one of the big reasons why a lot of people don't go and watch movies at the theaters anymore, because they're just like, I'll just watch it in 45 days on streaming. Don't be so basic. Okay. So don't be like everybody else. Okay. So be special. Okay. Be exceptional and go check out the movies at the theaters. Okay. Now, if there's a movie that sucks that you should not go see at the theaters, believe me, I will warn you. That's all the more reasons for you to check out my Movies Merica Live episodes. Movies Merica Live, those episodes are the spoiler-free episodes. Again, those are the episodes like this one right here that come on every Sunday afternoon. So you don't have to worry about movies being spoiled in these Sunday episodes right there. Okay, so that's my final thoughts on The Fall Guy is get your ass off the couch and go check this movie out in the theaters, everybody. Okay, so send Hollywood that message. Okay, so all right, so it's at this point right here, everybody, that I just let you guys know that I appreciate you guys watching this movie and watching this movie. This is not a movie, everybody. Okay. All right. I just appreciate you watching this episode. Okay. Whether you're watching it live right now or you're watching the recording of it, if you're watching it in, 5 years or something like that. First off, hi, everybody from 5 years from now. How you doing? Thank you for watching this episode right there. But if you think of anybody, no matter how slightly you suspect someone would appreciate or like this show or this episode in general, send them the link to this episode, okay? And then also hit the like button down there below. Hit the like button on this episode if you would, and then hit the subscribe or follow button again, also down there if you haven't already, to subscribe to me, Movies Merica, okay? And also hit the notification bell down there as well to get notified of brand new hot piping, sizzling, fresh episodes of this episode. I better wrap this episode up before I embarrass myself any further with my apparent lack of ability to talk right there. But yeah, check me out on X under @MoviesMerica. Check me out on Gab and Rumble and Pilled. Under Movies Merica on all those platforms right there. I'm also on Facebook under Movies Merica or under Van Ebert there. Check me out there, everybody. All right, everybody. So, as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey! I got the police after me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. Hey, so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.